Here are 12 clips of near-death experiences that will change the way you think about death.
Then he reached over and grabbed the gun and put it on his stomach. And he kicked the safety off, and when I realized what he was doing, I tried to grab the gun. Then he reached over and grabbed the gun and put it on his stomach. And he kicked the safety off, and when I realized what he was doing, I tried to grab the gun.
911, what is your emergency?
My husband, he just shot himself.
Ma'am, please calm down. Please calm down.
Bullet went in me right here and come out between my eyes, breaking every bone in my face, blowing my nose off, all my front teeth out.
The wounds were so severe that he coded several times in the ambulance on the way to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. During that time, he caught a glimpse of hell.
It sounded like a million people screaming in agony. And I looked up and I realized how dark it was. And I've never been afraid of hardly nothing on this earth, but that scared me so bad that I felt like I was going to explode from the inside with a bomb.
Everyone had the knowledge that you could not get out. Or at least I'm going to say I did. I knew and I understood I could not get out. And not only that I couldn't get out, but that I was here forever. I understood that I am absent of time and this place goes on forever. Hell is real. Hell is real. Whether you're an intellect or whether you're someone who has never attended school in your life, hell is real. And hell is not something that is based on belief. This is not belief. This is not your belief. This isn't what you believe. This isn't everybody has respective rights in what they believe in. This is what is true. This is what is really going to happen. What is really going to go on? What is really happening? What is true? And it's not up for discussion. It's not up for debate. I'm not looking for political talk. I'm not looking for schools of thought.
Sorry, I want to live. I want to be alive.
My spirit sat up in my body, and my spirit was ejected from my body. And I went into a realm that I understand now to be the second heaven. And instantly I knew, see, time was gone, and I was aware of eternity. And it's the most profound thing in the world. As long as you and I are walking around here, we're always conscious, tick, 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 tick of time. We get up in the morning, you go to bed at night. We're conscious on the physical plane. Everything is related to time, but everything in the spirit is related to eternity. The colors in the spirit world are more colorful. Everything's sharper. The emotions, everything. And you don't like logic and reason. That doesn't happen. You just know that you know. It's like having truth automatically all the time. And I was being drawn. There was a white light out in the distance, and I was being drawn in that light, and I could feel this desire to go. And as I was approaching that, I could feel something on my right side, and I looked, and literally I saw this. I could see and feel and taste the nature of this thing that was closing, and it was black. It was blacker than black, and it was a bottomless pit without a bottom. And it was closing, and the more it closed in front of me, the more I felt the nature of it. It's the separation of all life. There's no experience, there's no matter, there's no chance of changing anything.
No reversal.
There's no reversal. It's irreversible, eternal separation. It's more horrible and terrifying and hopeless than I can describe in any human terms.
And I look behind me, and I can hear screaming. It's all red and black. Turn around, get out of here. It sounded like people burning, people that were just burning, that couldn't find a cure or a fix to anything. It was just the worst. And I remember being afraid, gripping the steering wheel, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm back to my body in the trailer room.
And the gun went off. My lungs began to fill up with blood. My ears, I began to become deaf, very slowly, faintly become deaf. My eyes became blind. My eyes were open and I became blinded, and I knew that death was gripping my soul. And then all of a sudden, I felt myself, my soul, leave my body, and I instantly began falling and falling. And at that moment, I knew I was no longer in control of my destiny.
It was a huge sea of people, and there were many, many chambers that were all around me, and all of the people that were there were in the same formless being, screaming out in agony and total terror in a hideous scream. Then there was no end to it, Pat. There are no words to describe how horrific this was.
They were screaming in agony.
They were screaming in agony, and because they had become total beings of death.
But as Christ and I went on our journey night after night, what I learned, he talked about his blood in hell, that if they had received him, no matter what they did, he would have washed them clean by his power and his blood. Because when he was crucified, that's why he did that, to save us from eternal damnation. If we would believe he was Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And then I learned something. As I'm walking with him and talking with him, I learned out of the book of Galatians, there's 17 works of our flesh. Full of murderers. They had died on the earth. Their main thing they did in their life was to murder people. They had to be millions. And I began to look out of the vast number. They were skeletons chained together. And they were burning and screaming. And then he said, I want to show you people that have hate in their heart. He showed me a valley without number. And these were also chained together, burning and screaming. And demons walking through tormenting them. And some of them were literally pulled apart and taken all over hell, and they were screaming. Each part of the body would scream. And I thought, oh my God, what a torment. And then he showed me like people in the cult, like I told you, in the center of hell. He showed me the murderers, he showed me the haters, he showed me the ones that are prejudiced. This is a subject that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but God does not see color. Listen, love knows no color of our skin. And what you have to do is love you one another as Christ loved us.
And as it opens, it breaks my heart so much. I could hear all those. I could hear people, voices of human being, crying for help and cursing everything, you name it. And it's not clear anymore. So many people and smashing of teeth and the heat the darkness just came out. It's not like darkness, like there's no light and this is darkness. The darkness is a force, and it's a reality. It's feeling the wrath of God in the air. And as I opened the door and I could see, I was by the gate, and I knew exactly where I was. I was where the dead are kept until the day of the judgment of Jesus Christ, the white throne judgment that is written in the book of Revelation.
And as it happened, the machines monitoring my heart flatlined, and I was pronounced dead. And then I could feel evil, the most intense evil. It was like invisible eyes were looking at me. It was like a spiritual darkness. And I heard men screaming out of the darkness saying, "Shut up." I thought, I've said nothing. Not realizing my inner thought was a speech, and they could hear me going, "Where am I? Who turned the lights out?" Another man, "You deserve to be here." I said, "Deserve to be where?" Another man in front of me, "You're in hell." I'm thinking, hell? I don't believe in it, you know what I mean? Hell's supposed to be a party place, and I'm wrestling with this whole concept. Then I have a realization, well, this could be Hades, this could be hell. The next minute I'm thinking, well, God's every right to send me here, and yet I reflected on the fact that I had prayed in the ambulance. The next minute, radiant light pierces through the darkness and draws me out.
The dream scared me so bad. I was underneath our living room table for hours. I was so terrified. I was terrified to move. I was terrified to do anything because I was afraid it was going to be added to my judgment. I thought that was the judgment. That didn't feel like a dream. I could feel, I could taste, I could tell you how it made me feel. Everything was so alive in the dream. And at that moment, I was asking God, why did you give me this dream? He said, because I want you to warn my people that the things you saw
to Mario Martinez.
are the things
All
that
of these testimonies are true heartfelt. Mario's experience is one that is similar to many other testimonies.
When I went forward, there was a lot of screams. There was a lot of fire. I've seen a lot of people. There was a lot of people screaming. Before I go forward, I'm not saying this to scare you guys. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm just telling you, this is the true, what happens after death. I've seen all this, I've seen rivers of fire. People are burning. There's been people burning there for many, many, many years, hundreds of years. People their flesh burns. They burn, and the flesh falls. And your bones get nice and toasty and black and gray. And when it's done, then the flame, your skin, your flesh starts growing back on you. And then the flames start again. And I also seen maggots crawling through your flesh, in your bones. And they're eating you. They're eating your flesh.
On July 20th, 2009, I died from a massive coronary and went straight to hell. I freaked out. I had this demon slither around me, around my shoulders, real reptilious looking, tentacle type hair, millions of teeth, got right in my face and said, "I got you now." I looked down, I seen demons all around me, chewing me up. I panicked, I freaked out, and I screamed out, "God!" He said, "But I'm a gracious God, and I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to give you a second chance, even though you don't deserve it." And, he said, "On two conditions." I said, "Man, whatever, man. Whatever you want." He said, "One was you tell this story to anyone and everyone will listen to it." And he said, "The second one is, I need you to help gather the souls." I said, "I don't understand." He said, "I need you to gather the souls." He said, "Everything you were taught as a child, everything you were taught to believe in is fixing to happen. But all I know is when I came to, everything that was wrong and evil in me was gone. And God cut out all the addictions. God healed me. Miraculously cured. It was gone. And I've never been the same since then.
It appeared like the ambulance literally exploded in flames. I thought it had actually blown up. It filled with smoke, and immediately I was moving through that smoke as if through a tunnel. And after some period of time, coming out of the smoke and out of the darkness, I began to hear the voices of a multitude of people screaming and groaning and crying. But as I looked down, the sensation was looking down upon a volcanic opening and seeing fire and smoke and people inside of this burning place screaming and crying. They were burning, but they weren't burning up. They weren't being consumed. And then the sensation of moving downward into this. But the most terrible part of it, I began to recognize many of the people that I was seeing in these flames, as if a close-up lens on a camera was bringing their faces close to me. I could see their features and see the agony and the pain and the frustration. And a number of them began to call my name and said, Ronnie, don't come to this place. There's no way out. There's no escape. If you come here, there's no way out. And I looked into the faces of one that had died in a robbery attempt, who had been shot to death and bled to death on the sidewalk. And I looked in the face of two others that had died drunk in an automobile accident. And I looked into the face of others that had died of drug overdoses that we had partied together, and the agony and the pain. But I believe the most painful part of it was the loneliness. And the depression was so heavy that there was no hope. There was no escape. There was no way out of this place. And the smell was like sulfur, like an electric welder. And the stench was terrible. And as I looked at this, I had seen people killed. I had been involved in fights where people were killed. I've done time in prison for manslaughter myself. I grew up basically in a reform school and in a jail cell. I was beat on mercifully as a child by a father that had temper problems and alcohol problems. I was a runaway at 12 years old, and I felt like there was nothing in this world that could frighten me. My life was wrecked, my marriage was wrecked, my health was wrecked, but now I'm seeing something that literally scares me to death because I don't understand it. And as I'm looking into this pit, this place of fire and screams and torment, I just fade out into blackness. And when I open my eyes, I'm in a hospital room in Knoxville, Tennessee. My wife is sitting by. There have been multiple stitches put in my body. My arm was spared. There was almost 100 stitches. And I looked in the face of my wife, and I wasn't concerned about where I was or anything around me. All I could visualize was what I had just seen.
On November 23rd, 1998, I had an experience that truly changed my life. Now, it doesn't matter if you believe my experience. What matters is that you check out what the Word of God has to say about hell and avoid it just the same. This was not a near-death experience. This was actually an out-of-body experience that would be classified as a vision in the Bible.
To understand what was discussed today. If you have any questions, feel free to email us or message us on our blog or YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you're on our blog, subscribe so that we can send you our next blog or podcast. Take care for now.